You know the story. We've all seen it happen. You hire a star candidate, their resume is absolutely stellar, but then, on the job, that performance just doesn't quite materialize. There's this persistent, kind of frustrating gap between what people know on paper and what they can actually do. So today, we're going to dive into a new language for work, one that's designed to finally bridge that gap between a qualification and true on-the-job performance.
All right, let's just get right into it. If you manage a team or are part of one, I've got a question for you. Are you honestly seeing a clear match between your people's qualifications and how they perform day to day? It sounds simple, right? But I'm willing to bet the real answer is a lot more complicated than any of us would like. And hey, if that question hit home, you are definitely not alone. This is a huge problem. See, organizations often struggle to clearly describe what they even need in a role. The training we send people to, it teaches them how to pass a test, not how to actually perform. And the result of all this? It's a mess. Your workers are left feeling confused, managers don't have any real evidence for feedback, and at the end of the day, the entire business loses out on capability and productivity.
So yeah, let's call this what it really is, a fundamental disconnect. It's this massive gap between the world of paper credentials and the day-to-day reality of the workplace. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like there's a giant chasm. On one side, you've got education and training. It's all about theory, about getting that piece of paper, that qualification. And on the other side, you've got the workplace, which needs practical, observable performance. It demands what people can actually do and the results they can deliver.
Wow, this quote right here just nails it. For 2 decades, we've been running on this totally flawed assumption that a qualification means someone is ready for the job. But they're not the same thing. A certificate just proves that someone showed up. It signals participation. It does not, by itself, tell you if they can actually do the job well.
Okay, so if the core problem is basically a huge communication breakdown, then the solution has to be better communication, right? Well, this is where things get really interesting. The whole idea is to create something powerful, a new, shared, and practical language just for skills. You know, the root cause of all this confusion is surprisingly simple. We've never really had a common language to describe what good actually looks like in a job. So the solution is to build one. We need a system that makes performance totally visible and measurable for everyone, from the brand new hire all the way up to the CEO. So how in the world do you build a universal language for every job out there? Well, after a ton of analysis of the entire workforce, the system we're looking at boils everything down to one single number, 14. That's it. Turns out every single job, no matter the industry, pulls from the exact same set of just 14 universal performance skills. Now, this slide just shows 8 of the 14, but you can immediately see how universal these are. I mean, communication, problem solving, teamwork, who doesn't need those? And here's the real insight. The difference between, say, a barista and a brain surgeon isn't which of these skills they use. It's the level of complexity at which they have to apply them. So how do you make an abstract skill like teamwork really tangible? This is where this clever idea of word pictures comes into play. Instead of just saying, hey, be a better team player, a word picture gives you a detailed description of what that skill looks like at 5 different levels. So level 1 might be follows instructions from team members, while level 5 could be builds consensus among diverse teams to achieve strategic goals. See? It turns these vague ideas into concrete things you can actually see and measure. And listen, this isn't just some clever HR idea somebody cooked up. This whole framework is grounded in the same science used to train elite athletes. Think about it. A coach doesn't just tell a sprinter to run faster. They break it down into measurable parts, stride length, foot placement, reaction time. This system does the exact same thing for work skills, and it's so logical, so consistent that it's even been endorsed by AI. Okay, so a new language is great, but how do you actually use it in the real world? Well, that's where 2 really practical tools come into play: job codes and skill codes. The logic here is just beautifully simple. A job code defines the expectations for a role. Think of it as the benchmark, the target you're aiming for. Then a skill code profiles an individual's actual demonstrated capability. That's their evidence. One is the goal, the other is the reality. Simple as that. Now, you might be thinking that defining a job this precisely sounds like a bureaucratic nightmare, right? But check this out. It's a simple 3-step process that apparently takes about 3 minutes. You just pop in the job title,
match it to an official classification, and then use those word pictures we talked about to pick the right performance level for each of the 14 skills. And you're done. So let's make this real. Here's an example JOB code for a floor technology specialist. Now imagine being the manager or even the employee for this role. All of a sudden, all the guesswork is gone. You know exactly what's expected. Level 3 in technology and teamwork. Level 2 in planning and problem solving. It's just crystal clear. And this is the payoff. This is the big aha moment for everybody involved. When you compare an employee's skill code to the role's job code, you get this instant, visual, and totally objective report. You can see exactly where they're meeting expectations, where they're exceeding them, and where they might need a little support or training. No more vague performance reviews. And the impact goes way beyond just individual roles. By giving each job code a numerical rating, you can actually map out your entire company structure. Job hierarchies stop being about subjective titles and start being about an objective index. This creates incredible clarity for career paths, for pay scales, and, as you can see in that last column, you can even benchmark it against national standards, linking what you do internally to external recognized credentials. So, as you can probably tell by now, this is about so much more than just making performance reviews better. This new language becomes the actual foundation for building an entire high-performance culture, one where clarity is what directly drives capability. And this isn't just a one-off tool, it's a complete, repeating system. Just look at this cycle. It all starts with that crystal-clear job code. That code then tells you exactly who to recruit, it defines how you train them, and shapes your performance conversations. Then you review the data from those talks, which helps you refine the original job expectations, and the whole powerful loop starts all over again. It's a living system designed for continuous improvement. So, what's the big takeaway for your business? Well, this is a chance to finally build a truly evidence-driven workforce where every single person knows exactly what's expected of them. This is how you really transform things like safety, quality, and leadership by creating a future where performance truly and finally comes first. So we'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Businesses spend billions and billions on skills and training every single year. But what if you could finally build the missing bridge, the infrastructure that connects all that time and money you spend on learning directly to what actually matters, real, measurable, on-the-job performance?